old stomping ground at Coogee Beach. A very bleak looking day. It's raining today here in Sydney. I've just come over for breakfast with my friend Alan to start the day. It was lovely to see him. Sitting at Starbucks at Wynyard Station, just filling in some time, and Jess has just given me a lesson on Instagram stories. So I've just made a big decision. Maybe it's not that big, but anyway, it's not that big, is it really? It's not life-changing. I'm shifting my stories from Snapchat to Instagram. So as of tomorrow, I will be on Instagram and not on Snapchat. Not many people follow me here on Snapchat anyway. However, the reason I'm shifting is that I can get pretty much the same functionality on Instagram, including now I can download my stories every day. But over the last month, in May, I was part of a video challenge online, the Learning and Development Video Challenge, LD Vid 30. And in the process of that, the one thing I started doing was uploading my Snap stories every day to YouTube and sharing them on Twitter. So I've actually taken that extra step of going more public, publishing my stories more broadly. One of the reasons I'd stayed on Snapchat to make these daily blogs was that I felt uncomfortable with making them too public, and Snapchat, because it's so hard to discover people and so few people watch my stories, almost felt like a private blogging channel for me. I like the functionality of it, I like the ease of use, much simpler, quicker, easier than, for instance, making a movie on iMovie every day and publishing it. But now I've had a month of sharing my stories in the public arena. I feel pretty comfortable that it's okay to bring all of me and to snap about or to share and blog about personal and professional matters all in the one place. So I don't need the kind of semi-privacy of Snapchat anymore. And I'm connected with more people on Instagram, so there's more of an opportunity to supplement my blogging with personal connection. It's not as hard work as it is finding and connecting with people on Snapchat. So I'll probably post for the next 5 days a little reminder if anyone's looking for me, where to find me on Instagram, and that will be the only thing I do on Snapchat after today. I'll finish off this story, and then from tomorrow you can find me on Instagram. How cool is this? These are the new escalators, and look what they've done with the old ones. They've turned them into a piece of artwork suspended from the ceiling. I think that's super cool. So we've met up with Shannon and we're doing a little bit of touristing. St Mary's Cathedral, and we've walked through Hyde Park, and now we're going to go to one of our favourite vegan restaurants. I've actually done some work this evening. It hasn't all been swanning around at breakfasts and lunches with Miss Shannon Tipton. I've been working on the capability map refresh for the Learning and Performance Institute. So the capability map consists of 9 pages that look something like this, where you've got a skill category for learning and development professionals, definition of the skill, and then in detail at 4 different levels, a description of the skill. So this map was put together in 2012, which is 6 years ago, and it's clear from some of the feedback we're getting, which we knew anyway, that a lot has shifted in terms of the skills, the role, the activities that learning development professionals get involved with, and some of the tools and techniques that they use to do this. So we've been running a survey in SurveyMonkey, and a couple of people have sent me input via email as well. So we've got a total of 33 people at this stage who've provided feedback on one or more of the categories. You can see some of them are quite detailed. Not everyone has responded on every category, which is fine. There was a lot to try to comment on. So I've pulled down all the results from SurveyMonkey, and we've basically asked people whether anything needs changing. So we've got all these individual results across each category or individual sets of feedback, as well as having asked people, was there anything else they wanted to comment on, any other thoughts to share, as well as future capabilities that aren't addressed at the moment. And of course, being 6 years old, there is some stuff that needs. So we've got a steering group which is going to consider all of this feedback and recommendations based on the feedback about adjustments to the capability map. The challenge is to take all of these comments across the respondents and work through the level of detail, look for common themes, areas of agreement, and present it back to a steering group which consists of over 20 people in a way where we can get decisions on changes to make through a combination of written input and a 90-minute meeting. We'll then make the changes, we'll draft them, and then get comment back from the steering group again in another 90-minute meeting about the specific changes that have been drafted. So here's what I've come up with so far. We've got all of the feedback, the raw comments, in a tab in this particular spreadsheet or workbook, but then for each category against the skills, doing a high-level summary of the feedback, looking in particular for areas where more than one person has commented on an aspect of the skill definition, giving them a reference number for ease of discussion during the steering group meetings, and then a query or recommendation, and asking each of the steering group members to actually provide their input against those queries or recommendations in another column. The intent is then several days prior to the steering group meeting to take a look at all of the separate pieces of feedback or responses and to summarise the steering group input. Where we have clear consensus, then we'll just note that. We won't need to discuss that during the steering group meeting. We'll make recommendations out of their feedback and flag those items that need to be discussed. That way maybe we can actually get through what we need to get through in a 90-minute meeting. I'm a little bit nervous about the length of that meeting and the number of participants, so looking for ways to streamline the whole process. Okay, well, it's 10:30 and tomorrow I'm going to a workshop as a participant with Julie Dirksen, all around designing and learning for behavioural change. Really looking forward to that. I feel like I've got so much yet to do today, but I'm going to call it quits so I'm fresh enough to get the most out of that workshop. The other thing I've been working on, which I won't talk about today, I've decided to try to focus on working out loud about one thing each day rather than cover all of the projects I'm working on, even if I've got multiple things on the go. So tomorrow I'll obviously be talking about the workshop. Later in the week I'll be talking about a slow Twitter chat that I'm running as part of the Australian Institute of Training and Development's Social and Collaborative Learning Program. I've also got the 2-day conference coming up, the National Conference for the AITD. Big week. Okay, I'm off to get some sleep, and tomorrow if you want to... Alright, so from tomorrow I'm going to be using Instagram for my stories. So if you want to catch me, if you're someone who does like to watch my stories on Snapchat, you're going to have to move over to Instagram. I'll put a reminder up for the next few days with my Instagram handle, and I'll look out for any regulars to see if you're on Instagram and connect with you there. So good night from me. It's been another full and happy day.